Okay, fantastic. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this evening's Merrimack's Virtual Counselor webinar. I'm super excited for you all to be here. My name is Lucas Poyser. I'm the Senior Assistant Director here for Visitor Services and Events. We realize that many of you are listening in today from all over the country. Some of you may have been on campus before. Some of you may be familiar with Merrimack and are just hoping to learn a little bit more about us. Some of you may be engaging with us for the very first time. So wherever you fall in that spectrum, welcome and thanks for taking some time out of your evening to be here. The webinar tonight is designed to give you all the tools you need to communicate why Merrimack may be a great fit for many of the students that you're working with. Okay, so I'm going to get started with a brief and quick overview of Merrimack as an institution, and then we'll hear from our Dean of Undergraduate Admission, Gianna Vacola, who's joining us for the meat of the webinar to learn more about many of our new academic innovations. I'll jump back on to discuss our application deadlines and requirements, and then we'll wrap up with a quick Q&A with two of our wonderful student ambassadors. So as we go through the information tonight, please feel free to submit any questions you may have into the Q&A function in the Zoom, and we'll have moments throughout the evening where we'll pause to get those questions and make sure that those questions are answered. Okay, so who are we as an institution? Merrimack College combines the resources of a larger university with the personal touch of a close-knit community. So we're just 25 miles north of Boston, giving students easy access to internships, culture, and career opportunities. On campus, you'll find more than 4,100 undergraduate students, 2,500 graduate students, and a 13 to 1 student to faculty ratio. We have over 100 different undergraduate programs and 30 different graduate programs. So students have plenty of options to explore, all with strong faculty who support you along the way. So those 100 different academic programs are all organized into 6 schools. We have our Girard School of Business, School of Arts and Sciences, Engineering and Computational Sciences, Nursing and Health Sciences, Education and Social Policy, and our new Graduate School of Counseling and Social Work. This structure gives you the flexibility as a student to explore a variety of different fields, combine majors and minors, and work across disciplines. And for students who are a bit unsure about what they wish to study, we have an excellent advising team that will help chart a path that makes sense for them. And outside of the classroom, pardon me, outside of the classroom, we have many different options for students to make their experience unique while they're here. So 90% of our students complete at least one internship or co-op. And for some programs, an internship or a co-op is a requirement and therefore built into the curriculum map. For example, architecture, which is one of our newest programs, which Gianna will dive deeper into a little later. We also have our Warriors at Work co-op program where students are able to engage in a full-time 6-month co-op experience where they can earn up to $20,000. And we realize that internships and co-op experiences lead to successful outcomes, and those, of course, matter. Merrimack is a name that employers can trust because we're preparing students to focus on real-world skills and a comprehensive approach to career readiness. And that's why 96% of our graduates from 2024 are employed or enrolled in graduate school within 9 months of graduation. Research is happening all across campus in a variety of fields, whether that's health sciences, engineering and computational sciences, life sciences, human development, education, the humanities, and so much more. And we're leveraging our expansion in research to become an R2 research institution. Abroad opportunities for our students, of course. We've seen more students now more than ever post-COVID wanting to study abroad. We have a staff dedicated to furthering relationships with institutions across the globe. And we're one of 9 Division I athletic programs in the state of Massachusetts. So whether students want to be recruited or simply want athletics to be part of school spirit and community while they're here, Merrimack is a great fit. We also have 19 different club sport options and 15 different intramural sports, which are a great way for students to continue to stay active and make friends while they're on campus. In terms of student resources and community, we've shifted to a new academic advising model where all students will now have just one academic advisor for the duration of their time studying here. We have an incredible writing, tutoring, and math center with both peer and professional tutors and mentors on site. Student wellness, of course, is a top priority. We have comprehensive support for all students, whether that's with a licensed mental health professional providing them with short-term counseling options or our 24/7 mental health support hotline. All of those options are free of charge. We have two fitness centers that include full workout rooms, and we have dedicated studio spaces for some certain group classes that we host in Pilates and yoga, for example. And lastly, we have a large emphasis on cohorts. And I know that oftentimes when we're speaking with counselors, you all have many questions about what cohorts look like on our campus and what those experiences are like for students. Our cohorts bring students together on day one that share similar interests and are on different pathways as they enter college. For example, our honors program is designed for the most motivated and engaged students involving a more rigorous academic experience. Our Compass program is tailored for students looking for a robust support network, including dedicated professors and academic success coaches. And we have our Austin Scholars program, which is a cohort designed for students who are passionate about leadership and service, which takes form through volunteer work, both on campus and in our region. So at Merrimack, we're challenging the traditional model of higher education. So for too long, families, we feel, have felt that a high quality private education is out of reach for them. And we're changing that. So by rethinking tuition pricing, we're offering degrees that are priced competitively with public options, giving students the choice and flexibility to receive a private education at a public school price. And this disruption is already happening here. So, our $17,000 tuition degrees in humanities drew nearly 75 students in their first year, proving that affordability and excellence can go hand in hand. And building on that success, we've expanded that model to include new programs in government and creative arts and design. We've also added a new program in architecture with tuition set at $33,500 and we're continuing to make STEM, education, and criminal justice majors more affordable with guaranteed $20,000 academic scholarships. Excellence at an affordable price point. So that's the Merrimack promise. And Gianna will be going in depth a little bit later on this evening, so you can all gain further insight into these new academic offerings. Aesthetically, physically on campus, if you have never been here before, or if you've been in the past several years, things are definitely changing. We're growing our campus in spring of 2026, so in just a few short months, we're set to open a brand new 19,000 square foot lecture hall featuring 5 modern classrooms and space for over 700 students. This facility is designed for collaboration and active learning, aligning with Merrimack's forward-thinking academic programs. And starting in fall of 2026, so in about a year, 2 new residence halls will open, adding 540 beds to campus. These will include traditional and suite style housing, plus an honors pavilion, fitness center, and 12,000 square feet of academic space, creating a vibrant hub for student life and learning. All right, so at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Gianna Vacola joining us this evening. She is our Dean of Undergraduate Admission to talk a little bit more about our brand new academic innovations.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Gianna Vacola, Dean of Undergraduate Admission, and you just heard about some big picture information about Merrimack from my colleague Lucas. And now I'm going to focus on what's new, primarily the programs that are helping Merrimack disrupt traditional higher education by making a private education more affordable, more flexible, and more career focused. As Lucas mentioned, we recently launched brand new $17,000 degrees in humanities, government, and creative arts and design. And we have a brand new program in architecture and architectural studies. So at Merrimack, we are challenging the idea that a private higher education is out of reach. These new programs are just $17,000 a year in tuition, which is about half of the national average tuition for private colleges. And this comes with the full Merrimack experience, research opportunities, guaranteed co-ops, close faculty mentorship, and a supportive community. It's high quality at an affordable price. And most importantly, it's a model that is here to stay at Merrimack. Last year, we welcomed over 75 students in the first humanities cohort, and we believe that these programs are only going to grow stronger over time. So let's talk a little bit about what set these new programs apart. We talked a little bit about value. There's exceptional value in these $17,000 degrees. That tuition, as I mentioned, is about 48% lower than the national private average, and we're going head to head with our public school competitors on value in these programs. Next is career alignment. We designed the curriculum of these degrees in consultation with SHRM, ensuring that durable skills employers consistently ask for, like problem solving, communication, adaptability, leadership, and critical thinking, are all embedded into the curriculum. Flexibility is big at Merrimack, and you'll hear that time and time again. Students can choose from multiple concentrations within these degrees, which we'll go over. They can choose different course formats and even add minors and study abroad. And if students change their mind, these credits transfer easily from one degree program to the next at Merrimack. Lastly, community and experience is at the heart of who we are. These programs are built around a cohort model with guaranteed co-ops, strong faculty mentorship, and student-led clubs as well. These degrees don't just prepare students for their first job, they prepare them with the skills and experiences that we believe will last a lifetime. So let's dive into the humanities. Our humanities degree reimagines the liberal arts. It asks the big questions through history, law, literature, philosophy, religion, and culture, while also connecting directly to modern careers. Students develop adaptability, leadership, and communication skills that prepare them for paths in teaching, law, business, public service, and more. And with built-in concentrations like pre-law and pre-med, students can prepare affordably for graduate programs that lead to professional careers. Students can really customize their studies within the humanities with both traditional and cutting edge areas. Options are, as listed on the screen before you, some things like history, English, bioethics, applied AI, social justice, and leadership. This blend lets students anchor themselves in the liberal arts while also connecting to today's most pressing issues. Our government degree brings together political science, history, and public administration. Students learn how institutions function, how policies are made, and how leadership is practiced, while developing research, writing, and problem-solving skills that translate to many different fields. Graduates are therefore prepared for careers in law, policy, advocacy, public service, and more. And for students who are pursuing teaching licensure in things like English and history as well, this track also will prepare students to sit for their teaching exams and allow them to also continue on and do our accelerated master's degree, which is a 4+1 program. And they have the opportunity to apply for a fellowship position at Merrimack where they can get their master's and do that while paying no tuition, getting that for free if they go through our fellowship program. So some examples of concentrations within our government degree include political science, public administration, cybersecurity, data science, environmental policy, and public health. Each track provides a pathway into a growing area of public service or governance. So up next is Creative Arts and Design. This program combines Merrimack's strengths in art, music, theater, design, and media. Students get a really collaborative, hands-on education that emphasizes both creativity and practical application. By the time our students graduate in this program, they will have built a professional portfolio and gained real-world experience through our co-op program. It's a supportive, flexible pathway into creative industries or graduate schools with faculty who guide students closely from their first year through senior year, which culminates in a capstone project. Within this degree, students can focus on areas like filmmaking, graphic design, illustration, music, studio art, and theater art as well. It's a flexible structure. Students can try out courses in these various concentrations and see what fits. So they have the opportunity to also participate in a cohort model, and they're mentored by faculty who really care about them and are invested in their professional success. So our newest programs are architecture and architectural studies. From the first semester, students will begin building design skills such as hand drawing, digital design tools, and they'll also learn how architecture connects to their communities as well. By the third year of the program, our students will be engaged in community studios, partnering with local organizations to solve real world problems. And unlike many programs, there's no portfolio requirement for admission into our architecture or architectural studies program. Students who may already have design experience or art experience can certainly submit portfolios if they have them for advanced placement potentially, but it's not a barrier to getting started at Merrimack. And like our other new degrees, architecture is designed to be accessible. Tuition for our programs is set at $33,500 per year, making it one of the most affordable private architecture programs in New England. Students can either pursue a Bachelor of Arts in Architectural Studies, which is flexible and interdisciplinary, or they can pursue a Bachelor of Science in Architecture, which is a pre-professional track with aligned licensure as well. Both begin with the same foundation, so students can adjust their path as they discover their strengths and where they might see themselves in the future. And because the first year curriculum is shared, they can switch between the Bachelor of Arts degree and the Bachelor of Science degree after 1 year without losing any progress at all. So, the Bachelor of Arts degree is a broad and flexible program combining architecture with arts, design, and media. The Bachelor of Science degree is more technical and professional with courses in structures, ecological design, professional practice, and advanced design studios. Both tracks combine hand drawing, physical model building, and digital design technologies from the very beginning so that students graduate with both traditional and high-tech skills. And the BS is designed to lead directly into a planned Master of Architecture, which will launch in 2030 for the first inaugural class. So let's look at the curriculum for the Bachelor of Science. The program includes a sequence of design studios, technical coursework in structures and ecological design, and also a required co-op as well, giving every student professional experience before graduation. With the Bachelor of Science, there is also a senior thesis project as well, and a portfolio that demonstrates readiness for graduate study and licensure. So you can see the curriculum really laid out nicely here. What I do want to point out about the co-op is that this counts as 280 hours towards professional licensure requirements, which gives students a head start on their credentials. So they'll do a 7-week, 40-hour-a-week co-op through this program. Now let's talk a little bit about the Bachelor of Arts degree. The Bachelor of Arts degree in Architectural Studies follows the same strong foundation, but offers room for more electives for students. Students can combine architecture with things like photography, painting, visual storytelling, or digital media. It's ideal for those who want to integrate architectural training with the broader arts. And while a co-op isn't necessarily required as part of the Bachelor of Arts, students can still choose to pursue internships or co-ops with Merrimack's support. So you can see the curriculum map for the Bachelor of Arts degree. The Bachelor of Arts degree does culminate in a capstone project, which may be architectural or interdisciplinary. And then students will publicly showcase their work as part of this program, often blending architecture with another creative discipline. This gives them professional exposure and a chance to celebrate their achievements within our campus community. So before I open it up to questions from you, I just wanted to emphasize the outcomes that Merrimack delivers. And you heard Lucas say this earlier, 96% of our graduates are employed, going to graduate school, or doing some combination of both within 9 months of leaving Merrimack. And the median alumni earnings at the 10-year mark after graduating exceeds $122,000 a year, which far surpasses the national average. Lastly, and Lucas will touch a bit more on this later, 99% of our students receive financial aid from Merrimack, with scholarships that range anywhere from $1,000 up to $35,000 per year, plus the opportunity to earn an additional $15,000 in need-based financial aid. So we'll cover that a little bit more in the next few slides, but I really think this represents Merrimack well in terms of how we are preparing students and making ourselves an affordable, flexible, and career-driven opportunity for folks. So let's open it up for a few questions. Okay. So we've got someone that asked about international students on campus. Our students represent about almost all 50 states and nearly 40 different countries. Obviously, things are a little bit more challenging with international students right now, but we love our international students. We do international student programming on campus. This year for our freshman class, I think we brought in about 30 international students. So that will vary year to year, but we definitely do a lot of recruiting in international markets as well. And it's something that they bring a lot of diversity and experiences to our campus. Lucas, anything you would want to add?
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute myself. No, I think that covers it, and I think that an additional question to that actually just came in relevant to the $17,000 degrees that I just noticed was, are international students also eligible for these new discounted and different prices of tuition?
Yes,
Which the answer is yes.
that is a great question. The answer is absolutely yes. We often get asked by students and families, do you need to be at a specific income in order to qualify for the $17,000 degrees? And the answer is no. That those affordable degree programs are available to anyone and everyone at that price point. Question came in about the SAT and the ACT. So we are test optional at Merrimack. In fact, we don't even look at test scores when they come in. We have been test optional, test blind, really, for many years, for many, many years, over 15 actually. So we have done a lot of research when we used to get test scores and consider them, and they just don't correlate with how students do at Merrimack. And we really pride ourselves on finding ways to say yes to students. We are not looking for reasons to nitpick them and say no. We're always coming from a place of yes, and can this student be successful at Merrimack? And is there potential in a student? Um, so test scores are just not one of the things that we feel is really relevant to who they are and their potential at Merrimack. So I know Lucas is going to go over the application requirements in depth because we have a really innovative approach to applying to Merrimack as well. So I will save some of that for him, but know that students will not be viewed negatively if they do not submit test scores to us, and those that do, we don't even consider it. What percentage of undergraduate students live on campus, and is housing guaranteed for the first year? Most of our students do live on campus. We are a residential college community. We have lots of different styles of living on campus, and it's something that we pride ourselves in, not being a suitcase school. Students consider Merrimack their home away from home. They want to be here. They love being here. You will hear from two of our student ambassadors later who can speak to all of the things that are available on campus. I'm sorry, I have a piece of dust in my throat. I feel like I'm gonna excuse me. So we do pride ourselves on being a place that students love and want to spend their time. Housing is guaranteed for the first year. We don't guarantee housing for beyond freshman year, but in the 11 years that I've worked at Merrimack, we have never had an issue providing on-campus housing to a student who wanted it. Merrimack's growing. We are changing, we are innovative, and we are getting very, very popular. So there may be a time in the future where we're not able to honor that, but as it stands now, students that do want housing are able to get it.
And I think one of the things with housing as well too that is very cool about us and unique about us is that we have such a variety of housing options as well too for students. So we do have traditional, off the hall style living for many of our freshmen, but as you continue to become an upperclassman, we have suite style living, we have apartments on campus, we have townhouses. So we have a variety of styles, which I think really opens up our students to get the experience of what life is going to be like living after graduation, obviously, as well too, and the flexibility to experience different housing options during their 4 years that they're here if they choose to live on campus for the duration of those 4 years. Let's see what else is here.
So, in the interest of time, I think we'll hold any more questions until after Lucas, you're done. And then we can wrap up the few questions that come in because it looks like some of them are related to some of the things that you might be saying in a few. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these are some great questions. So keep them coming, and we'll have another portion in a few minutes to address some further questions. I'm here to talk. I'm back to talk a little bit more about application deadlines and requirements, and talk a little bit more about what that looks like specifically here at Merrimack. So it's never been easier to apply to Merrimack. I think that's kind of the key thing here. And there's two main options for students on how they want to apply, whether that's via our website or via the Common App with no application fee associated with either method. Like Gianna was saying, we are a test blind or test free institution, depending on certain places use certain terminology. So when it comes to those test scores, just keep that in mind if students are thinking about taking or retaking some of those exams. Just last year, we made the essay and recommendation letter optional. We certainly encourage students to submit those documents if they have them and feel confident about them, as we'll take them into account as part of the holistic review process of their application. But those documents are now no longer a requirement for students to at least hit the submit button. So it's and these are some of the deadlines as well too to give you an idea of what those look like. Obviously, you know the definitions of all the different deadline plans, but the dates are more important and pertinent as those kind of change from school to school, obviously. And we fall into the category of November 15th being our early decision and early action deadline for students, which is crazy to think that it's just a few 4 or 5 weeks away. It's no surprise to you now at this point of the presentation that we do have tiered pricing. We have different programs at different price points. And this kind of graphic spells it out a little bit. It's a lot of information, but when explaining this to parents and students, I think the best way to kind of digest all of this is to first start with that top row. and figure out what academic discipline stands out to you. And then you can notice that for some of the programs, like we talked about earlier, they have that $20,000 academic guaranteed academic scholarship attached to them. And then you can check out the range for Merrimack specific merit aid that we give at the time of admission. And that's what those ranges in the teal. And I think the one key point here is that as you're looking at the very bottom, the net cost before additional aid, the key point there is that that range does not include FAFSA. And so we wanted to address that as well too, and tell you that 99% of our students are getting some sort of merit or need-based aid from us. Affordability is central to Merrimack's mission. Uh, Again, with that 99% of students getting that, those scholarships range from $1,000 up to $35,000 annually, depending on what program they're in and what their need looks like. Like I was saying before with the FAFSA, on top of that, when you file the FAFSA, it can open up another $15,000 in aid potential. And we find that combination of those options make Merrimack a realistic choice for many families without sacrificing the quality that they're getting out of a private education. So kind of to wrap up this portion here, these are the top 5 reasons why we see students attracted to Merrimack and why they ultimately decide to come here. First of all, there's so many options available, as we've previously discussed. You've learned about all the academic options. You'll learn about student experience and kind of what that looks like. We have a beautiful, tight-knit community, a very community-oriented campus, which I think you'd get a feel for if you have been on campus before or if you're planning on coming. Which the plug for that is that we have our fall visit coming up for counselors, our counselor visit day, which is awesome. We're hosting one this fall, and it's happening on Friday, November 21st. So you'll get more information following this webinar about that date. But if you come on campus, I certainly think you'd get a great vibe for what the vibe on campus is, which is what we find most students are interested in broadly when they're looking at schools. We have incredible faculty who are engaged with our students and able to connect with them in meaningful ways, whether that's through mentorship or research opportunities. As you've heard, we're constantly growing and innovating, coming up with creative ways to continuously form a campus community that will best serve all of our students. And simply the last point here is that there's so much to do, and I do think that you'll get a better sense of that as we wrap up and talk to 2 members of our student body shortly. We have Kendra and Colin here, who I'll introduce later. But I think you'll get a great sense for what student life is like and be able to translate that in conversations with families. Okay, so again, wanted to open things up for questions now that you've heard a little bit more about some of our application deadlines and requirements, why we feel students are attracted to Merrimack, and a little bit more about financial aid as well too. So happy to address any questions that have popped into your mind over the last few minutes.
So we have a question, Lucas, about acceptance rate, which I'm happy to take. Typically, our acceptance rate is about 70% overall, but it also does depend on the program too. So, for instance, nursing is the most competitive major that we have on campus. So, our acceptance rate for nursing is almost sub 60% at this point. So it will vary a little bit, of course, year to year, but that gives you a general idea of what that acceptance rate is. 50% of our students have a 3.5 and above. 50% of the students that we admit have a 3.5 or below. Like I said, we are always looking for reasons to say yes to students. We want to invite them into our campus. So we are not tied to acceptance rates necessarily. We are just always looking for students who are going to enhance our campus community. And then there was a second part to that question about what our policies are around students using AI for their admission essay. And that is one of the primary reasons why we decided to go test optional, to eliminate as much of that desire to use technology in a way that it shouldn't be used. So, in our conversations with students and families, we talk about the flexibility of our application process as a positive. I think so many schools tend to put students in boxes and say, these are the things that are required in order to gain admission. We feel differently about students. We think of students as their own unique snowflakes, and what makes one student shine may not be the thing that makes another student shine. So we have customized that process too and given flexibility and choice like we do across many things at Merrimack for the reasons that students are so different. And when they are doing maybe 2 and 3 writing supplements for the 10 to 15 other schools that they're looking at, in addition to their full-time job, which is being a student, we don't want to contribute to that narrative. So if a student is a strong writer, we want them to submit that letter of recommendation. If they feel that that is not going to portray them in the best light, then certainly don't. If they're feeling stress about it to the point where they're thinking about using AI, we don't want that to even enter the equation. Certainly we have read a lot of essays. We get 18,000 applications a year. We can certainly spot when AI is used in an application essay. Um, it's something we are monitoring. Um, and we would certainly have a conversation with a student or a school counselor if we really suspected that something, sort of nefarious was going on. But again, I'm excited about the progress we've made with applications. We also accept video essays too and graded writing samples. So there really shouldn't be a reason that a student feels that much stress about applying to Merrimack and submitting an essay that they would have AI write 100% of it. So, okay. Our next question is about foreign language on the transcript. So, yes, we are looking for foreign language on the transcript. We look for at least 2 years of a foreign language. Obviously, students who decide to take an additional year or 2 additional years, that's seen as a positive on their transcript and their application to Merrimack. So, we do require that. Ironically, we don't require students to take a language when they're at Merrimack. We eliminated that requirement about a year ago with the introduction of our new core curriculum. Any other questions for myself or Lucas? You've had some great questions. A question just came in about world language from 8th grade on a transcript, counting as one of those years. Yes. All right. Lucas, I'll hand it back to you then and probably go turn on my light because I'm now sitting in the pitch black here. That happened so fast. All right,
Sounds
take it
good.
away, Lucas.
Sounds great, Gianna. So, alrighty. So, at this point, I wanted to have a portion of the conversation this evening shift to the student life aspect of things, which I think we have two students who are going to be able to speak way better to that experience than myself and Gianna. And so, at this point, I'll ask Kendra and Colin to join us. They've been waiting patiently to answer all of your questions and give all of their insight as to what being a Merrimack student is like. I've been fortunate enough to work with them over the past year and a half, and I'm excited to have them both here this evening. So, why don't you both introduce yourself for starters? And we have a couple of questions that we have already submitted, and then we'd be happy to open it up to any counselors who had questions as well too for the both of you.
All right, sounds good. I'll introduce myself first. Hey guys, my name's Colin. I am on the e-board of the investor program here at Merrimack. I am a senior studying mechanical engineering with a minor in math. Aside from the investment program, I'm also in the honors program. I play club rugby, and I'm the president of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers chapter here on campus.
Hi everyone, my name's Kendra. I'm a senior from Rainham, Mass, studying criminology and criminal justice with 2 minors in forensic science and sociology. And apart from being part of the ambassadors program, I'm also part of the Dean's Forum.
Awesome. This is the standard question that we always have to ask because we want to know about your experience leading up to committing to Merrimack and ultimately deciding to come here. So, what was that like for you, and what was the reason or a couple of reasons that you decided to choose Merrimack? Let's start there.
So my college search was like a little weird because I didn't know if I wanted to stay in state or go out of state. So ultimately I decided to stay in state. But I toured Merrimack. I've like gone to a couple event days, but it was really the admitted students day at Merrimack that kind of made me fall in love with the school. I met a ton of people within my major. I met a bunch of professors, like the dean of the criminal justice program. So it was really all those connections I made, and my mom was there too, and we decided to deposit that day because I just fell in love with the campus and the school, and like some of the friends I made at Admitted Students Day I still have now. So it's kind of great to still have those connections even 4 years later.
That's awesome. Oh, Colin's back. Um, no worries, Colin. We'll
Sorry
come
about
back to
that.
you. We can hear you loud and clear.
All right, awesome. If you mind repeating the question, I don't know. I had some technical difficulties when you asked.
Yeah, no worries. I was just checking in to see what was the reason, the main reason, or a couple of reasons why you ultimately decided to choose Merrimack. If you're starting to, I want you to think back a few years ago, to when you ultimately committed and decided to enroll.
Yeah, awesome. So I went to a very small high school. Like I graduated with a class size of 24 small. So I've been in small classrooms for a while now, and that's something I really liked about Merrimack, having small class sizes, knowing your teachers and stuff like that. I also went to a Catholic high school, so being able to continue being a part of a Catholic education was pretty important to me as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so I had a question about internships, research, leadership opportunities. Have you experienced any of that during your time here? And what kind of impact has that had on you as you're starting to wrap up your time at Merrimack?
Yeah, I can take this one first, Kendra. So during my time here at Merrimack, I'm the president of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers chapter here on campus, and I'm also a part of our e-board here on campus for the admissions program. So I can say that there's a lot of leadership opportunities if you guys are looking them out. If students are looking for leadership opportunities, there's definitely plenty of opportunities to get involved on campus in that aspect. But in terms of internships, especially in the School of Engineering, we've seen a lot of kids get internships. I had one from my sophomore year to junior year summer with the Mass DOT and ended up working remotely for them through the year as well. And then over this summer, I got an opportunity to work at General Dynamics. So that was awesome. I actually accepted my full-time position offer there in their leadership program. So really cool opportunity to get something out of an internship like that.
So, I know that my advisor kind of like sent me like, well, she sent everyone kind of like a list of internship options for criminal justice. Like it was every single week there's some new ones to apply to. It's very customizable, and I know this is for a lot of other majors as well. You can do remote internships, you can do it summer, fall semester, spring semester. And I actually found an internship with Coaching for Change, which is a program that some of you guys may be familiar with because it is through a school. Um, I worked over in Lawrence with the kids in the middle school, which that's not really something that I was really expecting to do as my internship, given I was criminal justice and I'm kind of on like a federal law enforcement track. But it kind of introduced like a new side of like working with a certain population. So kind of like in a way really kind of helped me narrow down what I want to do in the future, even though it was like something that at first I'm like, this isn't criminal justice, but really it was. I was kind of learning about how to work with like juveniles and stuff like that. But I know that there's paid internship opportunities as well as unpaid, but it's really up to you. There's also a ton of volunteer opportunities that I've done through my advisor, which I can share if you guys want. But yeah.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. Um, we always talk about, how tight-knit of a community that we are here, and for those counselors who have been on campus before, they've certainly experienced that. But what's an experience that you both could share about how you were able to feel connected to the Merrimack community?
I'd have to say it's through like all the events put on, especially the larger ones. Like we have a block party that was actually a couple weeks ago. We have Oktoberfest, which is tomorrow. It's kind of like the whole campus comes together. It's also family weekend starting tomorrow. So we all come together for food trucks, yard games, bouncy houses, like fireworks, a ton of stuff. So it's really nice to like all come together as a community. Everyone also gets a free t-shirt, so then you'll start matching with everybody on campus. So it really kind of shows we're kind of a tight-knit community. But those are kind of like my favorite events and how everyone just kind of comes together.
Yeah, awesome. To kind of back off of that, Merrimack's a super tight-knit community here. We have 80 plus clubs and orgs, so being able to have as many clubs as you like, you can join as many clubs as you want. During my first couple of weeks, I joined like 9 or 10 clubs, just to, I don't know, try to find people, try to find a place, and then we all offer huge events every semester, a couple times a semester. So like one of my favorites is Light and Hope. So it's where the entire school comes together. We light our Christmas tree here on campus, and then we all like there's free skating out in the rink. There's all these different type of events, free food. There's a lot of free food events on campus, which is some of my favorite stuff here as well. But yeah, no, there's never not something to do. Your RAs are putting on events, the Office of Student Involvement is putting on events, so it's pretty constant. Like there's always something to do here, which is awesome.
Nice. Um, and then we all know and understand kind of the transition from high school to college can be challenging for students, and that looks different for each student. But what can you speak to a challenge that you've faced while you've been on campus, whether that's academically or outside of the classroom, and how you were able to kind of push through and overcome that to continue to have a good experience while on campus?
So I was actually the only person from my high school graduating class and like the years in between. I believe it was like I was the first one from my high school in a decade to come to Merrimack just because I went to a vocational school, so everyone kind of just went to trade school afterwards. So I was kind of a rare case. So I was very nervous about the social aspect and like being able to meet people, like going in completely blind. But I ended up making so many friends the first day. Like I loved my roommate. It was honestly a pretty easy transition just from being at a high school where everyone kind of knew everybody to being at a college campus where you don't really know everyone, but it's kind of you have to think everyone's kind of in the same boat. So everyone's just trying to meet everyone. So it is definitely like the friendliest year, I would say, freshman year, because everyone's just trying to get to know each other. Academically, it was a little, it was a, it took a little getting used to like with the schedule change because in high school you're in school for like hours and hours on end, whereas in college it's like broken up, which that took a little getting used to, but it's kind of nice because Merrimack, the way we do our classes, you have a lot of free time to not only get involved, but if you need extra homework time, you won't be like too stressed with like overwhelmed with a paper and you don't have any time to write it. Classes are spaced out pretty well to be able to especially get involved freshman year.
Yeah, I'll jump onto that question too. So, as I said, I came from a very, very small high school. Not many people graduated from my school. So, I was actually lucky enough to have one person come with me, which is awesome. Having one person here that I knew beforehand was really nice. But also, like as Kendra was saying, there's everyone's trying to meet new people freshman year. As I said again earlier, I joined 9 clubs on campus, so like really trying to break out and meet new people. Um, Academically, I'll talk a little bit about that.
Mhm.
It was a little different, especially I will say being in the engineering school with just learning like how the class structures are. I never did like a dual enrollment in high school, so again, getting used to that schedule, like making sure that I'm eating all 3 meals, making sure that I'm doing all these things. Not like I don't know. There's stuff that you do at home that doesn't fly in college, and there's stuff that you do in college that doesn't fly at home, kind of deal. So learning those aspects about it too is really nice. I really felt supported. The RAs here are amazing. Being able to talk to them about legitimately anything. If you're having an issue with your roommate, if you're having just issues with some facilities work as well, they're always willing to lend a ear, and you do get to meet with them. I see mine like every day. So like, and that's just around campus. Everyone's accessible here, which is the amazing part about having the campus size that we do. You're able to see everybody, and you get to see people that like every day, which is awesome.
Now, I know that both of you are seniors, and you saw that Kendra's has a 25 next to her name. And Gianna had put something in the chat that you're graduating in a couple of months, which is awesome. That's super exciting. And Colin, you'll follow suit quite shortly. As you both are looking back at your 4 years here or 3+ years here, what would you say is just something that has stood out about how your goals have changed over time about what you're looking to do and what markets you're looking to emerge into and what your career goals and aspirations are after college? How is kind of your experience here, if there's an example of how your experience here has kind of formulated that as you're preparing for graduation and reflecting on the past few years here at Merrimack?
Yeah, I can start off with this. So coming into Merrimack, I knew I wanted to do engineering. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just chose mechanical because it seemed like the most broad option that I probably could right out of the gate. And I will never look back on that decision. Being able to have the ability to kind of know and see all the different fields, especially in our intro to engineering class, we were introduced to everything, all types of engineering that we offered here. So my goals changed. Have probably changed like 30 times since I've been here, just depending on like where do I want to work, what do I want to do, all these kind of things, and being able to have the ability to look around different majors and like I did a civil internship was really amazing. So like your goals will change during your time, but the faculty are always open to talk to, especially people around in the engineering building. They're always open to talk to about like what they did in their industry work and stuff like that, which is really cool and helps out everybody.
So within my major, this is something that I feel like other people in other majors can relate to, but just in my experience, taking all my criminal justice courses, all the professors are retired law enforcement officers, retired attorneys. Some of them are current state troopers. So it was really cool to not only just like learn from a textbook, but learn from their life experience. And I feel like every single like class, especially the electives, anything I'd be learning in the moment, I'd be like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. Because I was kind of like, I wanted to do criminal justice. I knew that from the start, but I didn't really know like what path to go down. And right now, I'm kind of between federal law enforcement and then actually, because of my internship, also potentially being a juvenile probation officer. So it's kind of like throughout my classes, I was able to kind of weigh out what I don't want to do, which is definitely like be a lawyer. I knew right off the bat that's not what I wanted to do, but all the other things just fascinated me so much. So it's kind of cool to go through all the classes, and even now I'm like starting to like change my mind because you just learn way more and you learn each year.
So we're having an opportunity for the last couple of minutes here for folks to ask any questions that they may have and put them in the Q&A, and Kendra and Colin would be more than happy to answer those if you folks do have any additional questions. I think one last quick one, and this will be short before we open it up for a minute or two. As we're talking and speaking to counselors here specifically, how do you hope that Merrimack is perceived by counselors and therefore translated into conversations with students? What do you want the perception of Merrimack to be as we continue to grow and get the word out about our institution to this group?
Um, One of the most welcoming places on earth. I will say everyone's super nice. Being able to have that faculty relation, being able to know your professors, and being able to actually have conversations with your professors outside of class just about life and stuff like that is huge for so many kids, especially in my school. Like asking questions about industry and asking all these questions has been amazing. But so yeah, that's how I want it to be known. We're welcoming, we're nice, we're people who will always hold the door for you. Like seriously, it's one of the most welcoming places on earth.
I'd have to agree, kind of adding to that, especially like being here for my full 4 years. I've kind of grown with the school. As you guys probably saw in the presentation, the school is on the rise with a lot of new things coming in. So kind of being able to grow with it and seeing those changes happen in real time, I know that the school truly does care about its student population and definitely does give back because there's a ton of opportunities to start the school year where it's all geared towards student involvement, and you see all of our academic programs just growing tremendously. So I think one of the awesome parts is being able to grow with the university or the college.
Great answers, great answers. Thank you both so much for sharing the insight from the student perspective. We really appreciate it. Um, so as we wrap up, if you have any additional questions for Kendra and Colin, they're here. So we'll wanted to open it up for a minute and see if there's any that come in here. I want to turn it over quickly before all the counselors leave back to Gianna. She has a little surprise for you all. You might have heard this, maybe not, but a little surprise as we wrap up this evening.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kendra, Colin. You both are amazing. You know how much we appreciate you and just adore you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know our counselors learned a lot about Merrimack through your experience. So, on behalf of Lucas, Kendra, Colin, and myself, we just wanted to say thank you so much for coming tonight. And as a thank you from us to you, anyone in attendance tonight is going to receive a voucher for a free course in mental health first aid for youth through Merrimack. So this is a 2 credit graduate course, and the course is done mostly asynchronously, but there are some synchronous portions. It's done online over the course of 8 weeks. It is a 2 credit course and it is valued at $1,400. So that is a huge gift from Merrimack to you. We love our school counselors. We love our independent counselors. You send us amazing students each and every year. So this is our way of saying thank you for spending part of your evening tonight in the hopes that you will participate in this 2 credit grad course. So you can check your email in the next couple of days. We will send more information to you on this course along with a voucher code so that you can redeem it. So you'll have some flexibility of when you want to take this course if you do. So all of that will be forthcoming. But once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. We loved spending tonight with you, and we really hope to see you on campus soon in the future. We've got a lot of counselor events coming up in person. We'd love to take you to a hockey game or a basketball game or football. Well, again, thank you. We'd love to see you. Have a wonderful night. Go Warriors.